We thought we had the game of the tournament contender this morning. Well, what could top that? Another contender, a thrilling 3-2 victory for Ghana that puts them back into contention now to get out of Group H. South Korea are still mathematically alive but need some favourable results in the final round. It's why we love football, isn't it?
Joga bonito. It was just, like I say, the World Cup, nothing is given, you have to earn it. And we saw that today. It was just magnificent, magnificent.
Those scenes at the end, Kenny, a red card for the South Korean manager, Paolo Bento.
Maybe I can understand his frustration to a point. He's seen his team throw absolutely everything at it, kitchen sink, all the kitchen utensils in that final in the second half, late on in particular. Immense performance. I didn't think they had it in them a second half. We spoke about where was the inspiration going to come from. Well, it came from their centre forward show, and I'd also add their left back Jinsu. Absolutely phenomenal performance from that young man. He gave an exhibition of crossing second half that I haven't seen in a very long time, but great heart, spirit, determination from the South Koreans. It was great to see. And yes, Ghana were holding on at the end, but I thought they defended the box really well. Came out with a lot of credit from the game, both teams, and a wonderful, wonderful spectacle second half. So much good in the game. Heart and soul, really, heart and soul, what we saw.
We've seen so much time added on, though, in all the games. That's been a factor, an unusual factor in a sense of this World Cup. Would the referee not have let the corner be taken, Anthony Taylor?
But time's up, time's up.
But, we don't know,
But he knows, he's the referee.
It's not an exact science because there was an injury in the added time, there was a substitution during the 10 minutes of added time.
100 minutes? How long do you need? 100 minutes to score a goal? Come on.
He's got to get back to Sligo. He's got to get back. He's got to bring the traffic back to Sligo this evening.
100 minutes. And you want to complain about the corner?
For the last 10 minutes, it was exceptional. Yeah. And we were on the edge of our seats here. It was brilliant.
Now, I think that'd be a little bit too petty if we start examining why wasn't there an extra 10 seconds. If you take a bigger overall view of the game, the second half in particular, Tony, was phenomenal. I don't think South Korea can be hard done by in terms of the fact there wasn't an extra 6 seconds. They had more than ample opportunity. 2 great goals. More opportunities, sustained pressure. They gave absolutely everything. I wouldn't like to finish this game on a kind of a negative because there was so many positives to see from both teams in that second half.
From an emotional point of view, they did give so much in that game. What will they have left for the final game against Portugal?
I think they're going to go for it 100% because it's just that their culture. They never give up. And we can see in second half, they came back with an intent of winning. They have that in their culture that you cannot give up till the end. And I think it will not be an easy game against Portugal, but I can see them win against Portugal. I can see them win against Portugal.
So, a disappointment from Korea's point of view today, would you say?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle for him, I've got to be honest with you. Always looking to get on the ball and make things happen, but just couldn't do it. Yeah, he was kind of double-teamed at times. They made it difficult for him, but it just wasn't his day. And we spoke at half-time saying, well, if he doesn't turn up second half, really, where's the inspiration going to come from? And the credit and the encouragement from South Korea was other people did step up. Cho, in particular, the centre-forward, didn't know a huge amount about him. Well, we know a lot more about him now because the quality of the goals which he scored second half. And that'll give him confidence going into the last game against Portugal. We won't be making the argument in the game against Portugal, well, if Son doesn't turn up, where the goals are going to come from. At least we know now well they've got a centre forward in the form of Cho, who, if you put the ball into the right area, has got the ability to go and score goals.
That's 11 goals and 2 games that really captured the essence, the spirit of what the World Cup should be.
It's all about football, the lovely game, the beautiful game. And when you see that, now you understand why everyone wants the World Cup. It's just amazing.
Korea looked dead and buried, you nearly have to say, after the first half.
Yeah, of course, because at first you thought that the game was done, and then suddenly Korea didn't give up. You have Lee there who just delivery. It was delivery fiesta today. The postman were on point. Everything were just spot on. What a delivery! The anticipation of Shaw who run just on the defender's shoulder, and what a header. Because you can see how he has to really go straight in front of the defender to be able to put that ball to the other angle. It's just the technique of the header is just amazing.
The cross was superb as well.
No, the postman were on point today. The delivery was just amazing.
This guy plays for Jeonbuk FC, Jeonbuk Hyundai FC in the K-League. Surely he's going to attract attention now from big clubs in Europe, would you imagine?
You talking about the left back, sorry, Tom?
No, the goal scorer.
The goal
both
scorer.
of them, in
Oh,
fact,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did. We questioned South Korea at half-time in terms of where the goal threat was going to come. And this lad really stood up second half. The delivery was absolutely fantastic, but Joey's right. Got to get yourself in the right area. You got to time your run. It's the lead up to the second goal. Jin Sun again heavily involved. It's a wonderful cross to the back post area. We're going to highlight Cho again. Just have a look at him at this point. He actually checks his run. He stops running. He just waits. He's going to time this run perfectly. Now he's going to accelerate again towards the 6-yard box. It's almost unstoppable. If I was being ultra critical of Mensah, the left back position, can he impede him? Can he put his body in front of him? Can he disrupt the run? But look at him arriving here. This is old school centre forward play, almost unstoppable. Just don't see enough of that in the modern game.
The desire.
Oh yeah, everything.
Oh.
Desire, timing of the run, wonderful.
We've had some good goals in this tournament, but that must be up there. I mean, the quality of the cross again and the way he launched himself at it.
It's just the desire to go at the end of it, the desire to score, because, you know, to be a striker, that's the first thing you have to learn, is that there is no such thing as a half chance. A chance is a chance. And you are the one who create that chances, that opportunity for yourself.
But I think there's something about headed goals as well. We're so used to now teams in wide areas coming back on the inside and looking to play kind of combinations and work their way into the box, Tony. It's refreshing to see a team getting the ball into wide areas, you know, drive down the outside and put that type of delivery into the box. It's kind of a bit of a dying art in the modern game.
The whole way, like Tony.
Tricky winger, Tony. He certainly wasn't a brave centre forward, I'll tell you that.
Let's talk about Ghana, because they did race into a 2-0 lead, and they were worth it in the first half. I mean, they played well.
Yeah, they played well in the moment, but like I say, the thing about Ghana is that the way they set up more about not losing than winning. And that's why they're conceding so many goals, because they are going away from what makes their strength is keeping the ball. So now when you try to change, it's very difficult for players to adapt.
Let's look at Kudus. I mean, Mohamed Kudus, 2 goals today.
Oh, that young man is something else. It's something else. It's just a joy to watch, you know. Everybody, I love his first touch. His first touch is always positive. When you see that, and something at his game is to get into a box. Now we see, it looks like an assist, but it's not an assist from Williams. But the finish to open his body the way it did for him to be able to put that ball in the far post from the keeper is just amazing. But the desire to be in that box, because when you see him play, most of the time he likes to do his stuff in the midfield. That's his way of doing stuff. But I think in the World Cup you can see how he really wants to be in that box all the time.
He's got a hammer of a left foot. We've seen it a couple of times. He can hit the ball, you know, really strike the ball with venom. That was more of a calm, assured finish on that occasion, just showing his whole repertoire there.
It's not hammer. They call that beauty.
He's a man of many talents, and he's 22 years of age. He plays for Ajax, Mohamed Kudus. Yeah, Uruguay to come for them. And are Korea out of it now? I mean, they still have a point and they still have something they can manage out of the last game. It's incredible, I think, how much is riding on these last games. That's not always the case in World Cups.
No, I certainly wouldn't rule them out for the reasons that we're seeing here. The amount of chances that they created second half, they've really struggled, certainly struggled in the open game in this tournament, but it wasn't the case second half. They found a bit of confidence, found a bit of rhythm to their attack and play. Look at the amount of players they're committing into the box here, Tony. This is Jin Soo, the left wing back. Nobody would have been complaining if he'd have got himself a goal this evening. I think he earned it. I think that shot was probably just creeping by the post. They kept pushing. Son missing an opportunity here. Here's Jin Soo again, arriving at the back post. Just relentless. They were absolutely relentless. And this is Cho. Could have got himself a hat-trick here. Very tight angle. Did all he could do. and this is probably the final chance of the game. Look at Show trying to bundle his way the ball over the line. There's some good defending there from the Ghanaian defenders at the back post. They did defend their penalty box, you'd have to say, very well for large chunks of that second half. So yeah, and we've said it before, huge disappointment in the South Korea dressing room after the game, but I don't think it'll be too hard for the South Korean manager to lift his players up when he shows them the highlights of that second half performance in particular.
When you look at the performance of the African teams, like Ghana winning now, Senegal beat Qatar, they're still alive, Cameroon with a good result this morning, Morocco beating Belgium, Tunisia drawing with Denmark. I mean, how would you assess where African football is at the moment?
You know, as much as it's important for African football to raise their game, my main concern is Cameroon. Because I know more about Cameroon than other countries. And I felt that in Cameroon, the one thing who changed is Samuel Eto'o when he took over the federation. I think the belief he put in the players, there is no more average. You have to be great. If you are not, you don't come back. That's simple. And I think also the mindset was changed. If you go for a competition, is with the one goal is to win. If you cannot win, there is no point to fight to get qualified. And I think that mindset first is the most important. It's not too much about having 20 teams in the tournament or 30. It will not change much. I think the mindset is, why am I fighting to get into the World Cup? I think that's a question every nation in Africa has to answer. Because just making the numbers is not good enough.
But the more numbers, surely, the better competition. It looks like there'll be practically double the number of African teams if the World Cup gets expanded from 5 to possibly 10, 4 certainly, and another one with a playoff. And that can only be surely good for competition and good for the game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, the African teams are competitive, have been competitive for some time in the Elite World Cup competition. North African sides as well. Morocco obviously impressed of late last night against Belgium. Tunisia to a certain extent. Middle Eastern countries as well. Saudi Arabia have had a huge impact on the competition. I wouldn't go as far as to say I look at one of those African countries now and say there's a winner there at this particular World Cup, but I think improvement is there. I think the coaching's getting better. I think the kind of defensive structures, defensive organisation was always a bit of a weak point looking at African teams. Always felt they're a little bit open and loose kind of defensively, but defensive structures are looking better there. So I think it's coming down the road. It's not here yet in terms of a winner, an African winner of the World Cup, but I think it's coming.
The next one.
Yeah, Pele said that, didn't he, Joey? That
the
an
next
African
one,
nation will
the
win
next
the World
one,
Cup.
The next one, Cameroon.
Next century.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Is it still the case, though, that like the best young players go to Europe?
I think in certain countries, yes. But when you see in Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, no. Because, to be fair, some of them had better wages than players in Europe. And the one thing was changing now in Cameroon is it's all about the wages. And now the federation put in place some kind of rules who are going to help players to stay as much. Because also you have to understand that coaching in Africa and coaching in Europe is completely different. It's culture-wise. So when a player from Africa comes too early in Europe, he's losing something. He's losing his creativity because it's so important.